is being organized in collaboration with Bank of Valletta and Microsoft Malta. I would like to thank, first of all, Tonia Naudi, Head Multi-Channel and Payments Businesses, Electronic Banking Services within Bank of Valletta, and Paris Savva, Territory Channel Manager for Microsoft SMB for Cyprus and Malta, who will be the main speakers for today's event. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about a change in the way we do things. During this period, we have had to rethink the way businesses relate themselves, both internally and with respect to their clients. This has been a paradigm shift which has influenced our long-term vision on a number of areas. All of us had to surrender some of our certainties during this period after these were tested against a new reality which none of us expected. Many businesses are continuously adjusting themselves to this new reality. However, I will not be exaggerating when I say that digitalization will play a very important part of this new reality. In its communication on its proposals related to the EU recovery package on the 27th May, the European Commission highlighted that our generational challenges, the green and digital transitions, are even more important now than before the crisis started. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown the necessity for businesses to shift their business model to a digital one. The scope of this webinar will be to examine the challenges for businesses in this scenario and possible solutions, both from a payments and operational perspective. Kindly feel free to post your comments during the session. If you take your mouse near the center of the screen, there is the comments box. Please feel free to post your comments and questions even during the sessions. All of those who are participating on our online platform, please feel free to do so. These comments and questions will be answered by our two speakers. We will also be having a dedicated question and answer session after the two presentations. To this end, we hope that you will find this session useful, and I now kindly invite our President, Joseph Borch, to make his introductory remarks.
Thank you, Daniel, for your introduction. Good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. And it is with pleasure and pride that I welcome you again for the 5th time for another of the Gozo Business Chamber series of webinars, in what we may now hopefully and safely call the post-COVID-19 era. I have to thank all those of you who are with us this morning. It is through your overwhelming interest and support that we have been encouraged to use this medium even more. The feedback we have received these last months from our members and from our enlarged family of supporters has proved how positive and wise it was to open our webinars to all those who have seen value in our proposals. This have benefited a number of people, first and foremost our own members, but beyond these, other operators in various fields, and even our partners in Malta and abroad. The webinar of today focuses on digitalization. Together with green energy sector, we have earmarked digitalization as one of the pillars of a new economy for the island of Gozo. During this pandemic, it became even more than apparent that the economy of the island region of Gozo needs to be diversified more than that of mainland Malta. In Gozo, we have relied too much on tourism. which has now been dealt a mortal blow. Tourism will remain the most important source of our economic well-being, but we need other strong sectors in an ideal post-COVID scenario. Digitalisation is one of these sectors. The island has now got a new fibre optic cable and its own innovation hub. Now we must make them work out to the benefit of businesses and to the benefit of the increasing population of our island. This will bring about quality jobs to our island, which in turn will contribute to a better and superior quality of life. These are the plans of our chamber and all the other institutions which have Gozo at heart. To lead us through the webinar today, we have roped in none other than Microsoft and Bank of Valletta. I think Savva, who is representing Microsoft Malta, who will give us some insights into the redefining of a way that businesses work by setting up a roadmap for post-COVID times where digitalization is the rule of the day. We will also have with us Tonia Naudi from Bank of Valletta. Again, we thank the bank for supporting these webinars. The Gozo Business Chamber is proud and pleased to have worked in tandem with you for a string of successful webinars during these challenging times. Last but not least, I thank Daniel and Richard Gregg for the organization of this 5th webinar. I now leave the floor to Tonia Naudi from Bank of Valletta. Thank you all again for being with us and keep well.
Thank you, Mr. Borg. So I can share my presentation. That's it. So to start off this presentation, consumers' needs and expectations have changed. They are high, and we have seen along the years that they have changed over time. During the past years, we also have seen a shift from consumers' behaviors from making manual payments, for example, to electronic payments. The payment landscape, we can say, has changed since going back to 2014 when SEPA was introduced. SEPA brought changes in the way payments are being transmitted, even locally in Malta, where, as we recall, the IBAN is very, very important. I have a problem with the presentation screen at the moment.
I believe someone else is already sharing a screen, perhaps Joe.
What should I do?
Hold on, let's check what can we do.
If we can all close our camera and leave Tonia to be in the main screen so she can present, it would be a lot better.
Can you close my camera?
In fact, I cannot change the slides. That's the problem.
Hold on. So there's someone, Victoria at Party. I think she is sharing the screen. Yes. Okay, now I can see your screen.
Okay. Sorry about that, but it happens. So as I said, the payments landscape has changed over time, and especially going back to the 2014 when SEPA was introduced. Following that, we had also the Payment Services Directive which was implemented and came into force in Malta in January 2018. Other changes, and this is all information related to the paving of digitalization and the move to digitalization, where in September 2019, strong customer authentication was introduced when making online payments. So this is my first screen. This is the first slide. The first slide shows that consumers are in actual fact too busy to actually go to branches and carrying out their financial needs. And what do they expect? Consumers now expect speed, ease, real-time payments, and everyone is too busy to waste time doing certain things. Speed is, in actual fact, a source of value. And because of these changes in technology, and we've seen the payments landscape being changed, digitalization has placed pressure on large corporates and organizations to change the way they work and transform their IT systems. So what are we going to cover throughout this presentation? Throughout this presentation, I would like to cover, first of all, the introduction of BOV digital channels and the strategy around BOV on digitalization, and the focus on internet banking and mobile services. So my next slide shows that in actual fact, BOV was first to launch internet banking in 2002, and also first to launch mobile banking in 2012. So the main digital channels, apart from the ATMs and also card payments, both, because BOV is both an issuer and acquirer on cards, we have also the internet banking and mobile banking. And for the scope of this presentation, I'm going to focus on those two channels, which are the internet banking and mobile banking, with the aim of giving you an overview of our payment services we offer and ultimately ensure a seamless customer experience. Now, let me start with the channel of internet banking. So internet banking, there are a number of functions that are available through internet banking. You can either make in relation to payments, you can either make a single payment within SEPA, domestic, or outside SEPA. SEPA, it is the single European payments area. So it incorporates all the EU member states, mainly within the EEA. You can also make a batch payment, file in a file. So you can have a number of payments, and this corporates especially make use of this payment service by preparing a file and uploading it through a function on internet banking. I will show you later throughout my presentation. Another function is pay a bill. Customers can pay a bill through internet banking, like I want to pay a utility company or school fees or water and electricity. You can do that through this function. You can transfer money between your own accounts or to third party. And then you can also view your accounts, view account details, and also export transactions for reconciliation purposes onto your accounting system in order to view all the transactions. As regards to corporates have their own package through internet banking, and a corporate or organization can assign an administrator on internet banking and assign different roles and rights to users. So this is an overview of the main functions, again, in relation to payments, which is supported, which we provide through internet banking. Now, internet banking, mobile banking. How does a customer access internet banking? Internet banking, you have two options, basically, and these two options have been implemented after the directive of the Payment Service Directive 2 was introduced, the second part in actual fact, so to be precise, when the regulatory technical standard was issued, and that was implemented in September 2019 in relation to strong customer authentication. So Bank of Valletta changed the way customer accesses internet banking and offered two options, either the hardware token, which is that white secure token, or mobile banking, mobile. So to mobile banking, which is the BOV signatures, as I'm showing on screen, you are able to actually use that, which is the software token, to access your internet banking. You can make and authorize payments using the signature tool available through the software token, and therefore ensure that the payment you are making is secure. You can also we offer fingerprint recognition, and another function which is part of the access and authorization of payments, which is faster, is using the Pronto. The Pronto is, you have a QR code. It is basically place your mobile, scan and authorize. And it's as simple as that, but it is very, very secure. So the landing page, this is the landing page of our internet banking. And as you see, those functions that I have presented in my previous slide, you can have, this is the landing page, and for each and every one of them, and now I'm going to explain further, you can actually access each function accordingly. Now let's go to how, first of all, you access internet banking. So basically you either log on to bov.com, you tap on the BOV internet login, and you key in enter your user ID. That user ID is unique, it is for you and you alone, and you can access both your internet banking and your mobile using the same user ID. And you enter the code. Now the code is generated by using either your hardware token or your BOV signatures, which is the login one-time password, and you key it in that where you have on screen enter code, and you log in. Again, we also send messages through internet banking, important messages. The aim of using online services is that our customers, our thousands of customers using internet banking, will receive messages even online. In fact, we are also paving also the way and implement that even as much as possible, hard copies of even statements, notifications, they're all placed online. I mean, it is easy to access internet banking, and therefore if any important messages need to be communicated to our customers, we use this channel. So one of the channels that we use is messaging. We send internal messages to our customers using the inbox of internet banking. So if I click on my portfolio, through my portfolio, you can view all the account balances. view investments, or you can also move money between your own accounts. When you view the balances, you can also, for ease of use, because sometimes you will need to print out your account details for some reason or other, and you have also that functionality to do that. You also, where I have the arrow keys, you can also get details on particular transactions, especially because, again, certain regulations, payments regulations require that we increase our the details of payment information, both from the originator, from the account holder, and when you receive a payment. There are specific details that you need to view when you view your actual transaction. So that is available in the detailed transaction list. So my money. Through my money, again, the icons present different functions, whatever you need to do for that particular why you access in actual fact internet banking. So you can either move money between your accounts, you can open an account, view your statements, view check images. Now, to move money between accounts, and this is the concept that we use when you actually want to make payments, single payments through internet banking. It is a way of, if you press the bars I'm facing my PC, so it's on your right-hand side, you can just click on, and one by one, accordions, you can complete the details. Where details are grayed out or where details are not available, the most important thing is that you key in the mandatory details required. The most important thing, which we emphasize when making a payment, any type of payment, in actual fact, is the details of payment. The details of payment need to be meaningful, because otherwise there could be possibilities that payments will be held for further checking before actual processing takes place. Now, when you go to My Payments, and this is where I've explained previously, you can pay a bill, and you can send a local or foreign payment, or set up a standing order. Now, let me go through two very important functions, which is the pay a bill and send a local or foreign payment to others. Now, when we start off by pay a bill, I want to pay at school, I want to pay water and electricity, I want to pay another utility company. So I use this screen and this function. And the most important thing is, depending on the type of payment you are making, for example, certain companies, utility companies, require you to include an invoice number or account number or certain criteria, and that is all available on screen. So you are guided accordingly, and you just key in the details as you go along. When making a payment, and this is just an example of, let's say I chose BOV Mobile, or I chose Inland Revenue, whatever the state, it's just a matter of a drop-down list, choosing the utility company, and continuing with the transaction. Now, making actual payment. So we are here making either a SEPA payment, a non-SEPA payment. Going to this screen is used to make, in actual fact, any type of payment, whether it is in euro payment and different currency, in different currencies. So once again, the most important thing, especially when making a SEPA payment is that you have the correct IBAN, that charges are always shared. What is the difference? Shared means that you, as the initiator of a payment, as making a payment, you are going to pay the charges from your end, and then from the beneficiary side, from the recipient side, the person who's going to receive the money, if the bank charges, if his bank or her bank charges any specific charge for that payment, then he will be charged accordingly. So that is why it's called shared option. So each bank will be applying the respective charges. So once again, in this screen, we have, it guides you through the payment details, where you're going to send the money to. And again, I must emphasize this, the importance of meaningful information, meaningful details in the payment details. It helps you and it helps us. It helps you to be able to reconcile, and it helps us to ensure the purpose of the payment is correct. And we can apply the payment in a straight-through processing manner, STP processing, and not hold the payment for any specific reason for further inquiry. It is important, as the next screen, is that the IBAN, the details are correct, because then obviously you are either going to incur excessive charges, or you're going to be notified that that particular payment cannot be executed because of some error. In fact, if you can see in my screen, in the slide, it is stating that it is not a valid IBAN if you are paying a non-BOV bank account. You may incur additional charges. So it is very important that when you are making the payment, you actually take notice of any instructions given to you by the bank. Again, these are the warning messages that will be prompted if any of the details are not correct. Another thing, which is also due to the regulation, is that before you authorize the payment, you are prompted with what we call a forecast. That means that you actually can view all the charges that you will be incurring, all the details of the payment, what you have keyed in basically before you actually authorize. And you have the option to either authorize later or authorize now. In this case, then, when you authorize now, you have to use the signature tool both on your hardware token, the white token, which I had explained previously, or else your mobile software token through the BOV signatures. Now, through internet banking, we also offer additional information to customers, especially when carrying out specific payments. For example, in the case that I presented on the slide, the customer is actually making a payment in USD. So what are the bank's requirements for making such a payment? There are certain specific requirements that are needed in order to ensure that the payment is executed. For example, if you are making a payment in USD, you need also to include the full beneficiary address and the beneficiary SWIFT code. So we actually share the information to our customers through this additional information box. So it is very important that that is taken note of. It is taken note of, and that certain detailed information you read through before actually carrying out the payment. And it also helps to avoid extra time having to call the our customer service center to ask why this payment is not being processed, etc. So it's a means of giving our customer more information. Now, from the side of, so that is, I mean, that function, the previous function I presented, it is both for the personal customer and a corporate customer or an organization. Now, this specific function, the specific payment service, is used for corporates and for organizations. It is batching payments. What I mean by batching payments is that BOV will present to you a file format. It is either going to be the standardized file format of SEPA or else a proprietary file format of Bank of Valletta if the payments that you wish to process are non-SEPA payments. So let us go for the simplified version, which are the SEPA payments. So if you would like to batch your salary payments, or if you want to batch your supplier payments, you can easily do that by including your multiple payments in NFI. And then once the file has been, there is steps to be taken. First, the application is carried out. Once you submit your application, then we obviously process the application, communicate directly with you as the organization, and there's an agreement and some forms to complete. And once testing is carried out, then you will be able to upload your encrypted file through the upload file encrypted, as you can see on my screen on the slide. And you include the total value and the date that you wish the file to be processed, when the end beneficiaries you want them to actually receive the funds. Now, the application form you can apply if you log on to BOV to our BOV website, which is bov.com, and then you click on to the business site and my products. You have a function which is salaries and batch payments, and there you have all the details required to actually apply for this service. And even we've also included the agreement and all the additional information that is required in order for you to apply for this service. Another interesting part of it is that an organization or a company will have a system administrator. So what is the role of a system administrator? So the system administrator will be able to create, manage, and delete any users. For example, the company wants to process salary payments. So here you have signed up for the salary batch payments. You uploaded the salary. So you have a user, an officer, who is responsible to prepare the file. The file is prepared and then uploaded through internet banking. But you also want to authorize yourself the file. You do not want the user who uploaded the file to authorize the file himself or herself. So there is a segregation of duties so that you can manage it through the system administrator. And the system administrator will have the appropriate rights set up by the bank in order to carry out this actual function. So to ensure that the 4i principle is also maintained within the company, so that you can actually do that. Another important notification is how we process payments, the timelines, which I'm sure is very important, especially if the upload of the payment file is a salary payment file. So, according to even the requirement of SEPA, once you upload the file, the maximum that the beneficiary can receive the file is the day after. So it is, as I am stating on screen, it's the D+1 concept. So if you upload a file today and the requested execution date within the file is today, then what happens is that the book payments, what we call book payments, so it's the BOV to BOV, because those are within BOV, are executed immediately. And for the other banks, then it is a D+1. So Monday by Monday, the beneficiaries will have the funds in their account. You must also, and we adhere to the clearing mechanisms and target to calendar within the European Payment Council, EPC. So files will be processed Monday to Friday, 4 days included, excluding Saturday, Sunday, and public holidays in Malta. Now, that has been an overview of internet banking. Now I'm going to go through very quickly the functions of mobile banking. Mobile banking in your pocket really, because you can have your mobile and you have everything your banking needs on your mobile BOV mobile application. Now, the functions available are My Financials, mobile to mobile payments, mobile top-ups, the BOV signatures, which I've been explaining before, and that is the software token, and the BOV Pay. BOV Pay is a method of tap and go authorization of payments. So you have your own card stored inside through your mobile pay. This is the Android version, because obviously then there's the Apple Wallet, which is slightly different, but for the scope of this presentation, I've taken a shot of my mobile, which represents the Android version. So basically, I go to, when I'm just a quick explanation of the BOV Pay is, I go to a shop, I want to purchase something, I just tap on the POS machine, and there, I've paid. I've paid with my mobile without taking out my card, without taking out my debit, credit card, etc. It's according to what you have stored on, what you have saved on your BOV Pay. So let us go through the functions. My Financials. My Financials represent a snapshot of the accounts I have stored on my mobile. And it is a way that you can, I think I have the second slide, yes. Second slide shows it in detail, where I have a list of all the accounts I have. So you can have overdraft, you have loans, loan accounts, current accounts, savings accounts. You have the list of the accounts displayed. Now, as regards to payments, if you click on the function at the bottom, you can actually carry out then different payments. You can pay a bill. You can pay also the mobile to mobile payment through your mobile, and you can also carry out a top-up, and you can also move money between your own accounts. The culture, as a concluding slide, the culture is changing. Yes, we have seen during the last 2 months a shift to electronic payments. Customers and consumers are using more e-payments to carry out the day-to-day payment requirements. There has been a shift from checks to e-payments. Yes, I must acknowledge. However, the Maltese are still fond of checks. And checks, as I've noted down, is 10 times higher than the average in the EU. And unfortunately, people still pay their bills using checks. As BOV, we are trying hard and promoting our e-payments, electronic payments, and we with all the changes that are going on in the payments landscape, with regulatory changes and technologies, we do look forward for more exciting times, especially when we talk about real-time payments, instant payments. All that is exciting because you can actually see how in split seconds, in 10 seconds, the beneficiary, for example, is credited in the account. I've also included in my sections, my team's email address. So please do send us any questions, any more. If you require more information, we are available. So digital banking, as I'm saying, it's cheaper, secure, safer, faster, convenient. Thank you for this. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tonia. So, hi from my end as well. My name is Savva. I'm a territory channel manager for Cyprus and Malta, and taking over from Tonia, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the last couple of years. The biggest generation in the workforce worldwide is what we call the millennials. And the millennials has shown us the way of working remotely, doing business faster, avoiding traveling, and not only because time is the only commodity we cannot buy, but as correctly said, it's also about becoming greener and more efficient. So there are lots of benefits in the community when we deal with electronic payments going forward. Nonetheless, we didn't expect this shift to digital to run that fast. But unfortunately, with COVID-19, we were forced to do it faster. We understood that even though we thought we were connected, we are disconnected, and we are doing unsecurely our business. And this is something that is changing. I have also the cover from Economist, and there was a very, very good article there, how COVID will reshape the global commerce. And it's obvious in the last couple of months that it's already reshaping that. So here at Microsoft, with COVID impacting people around the world, we're here to help with our tools to make people being able to work remotely, covering, first of all, the safety of their employees, giving them the opportunity to work from different locations, from different devices, nonetheless, in a secure manner. As also discussed, especially in the banking sector from Tonia, security nowadays is something that we need to be very careful of, and Microsoft is focused on that as well. How do we do that? How do we help people to enable remote work? We help them to meet and collaborate from home, to be informed and engaged both with within their own company and also between employees and customers. Make them able to have productivity applications available on a device. Again, I'm referring to the previous presentation. Now in the palm of your hand with your mobile device, you can pay your bills, you can top up your mobile phones, you can do a million things. Work confidently on your device and securely, and being able to deliver an experience where each and everybody will be enabled to do more. Going a little bit in more detail on how we enable people to meet and collaborate from home, as we are having this webinar now through Microsoft Teams. Teams nowadays is our center hub product within Microsoft 365. It's a place where you can have meetings as we have now, call somebody, chat, collaborate, and use applications to do our life easier. With meetings and callings, especially in the chat area that you see here on the screen, this is something that I save time. During the last year, I receive around 60 to 65,000 emails a year, and there are, and I'm sure that most of you have similar experiences. Some of the emails are unnecessary to read. And what do I mean about that? I can give an example. Sometimes we have a team of 10 people and we want to discuss something that the answer is a yes or no answer. And we send an email for that. That takes time. It fills in our inboxes, and we are not real time. So with chat, you set up your team in Microsoft Teams, and you can chat there. You can put the thumbs up. You can use the application as any other application you are using on your personal life. And going back again to the millennials, this is why we started putting new solutions in our Microsoft 365 offering, because we learned from these young people that they needed ways to communicate. They use WhatsApp, they use Facebook, they use Viber, and we wanted to give them a tool that they can do that in their corporate space securely without the need to leave their application that they work on to use another application. Going forward, and in more detail, we can have a conversation with a colleague or a customer, video call or normal call. Note that anyone that owns a Microsoft 365 license, you can invite your customers or your external people you work with. They don't need to have a license. You can invite them, talk with them on a video call or even on a normal call. You can have your team updated and share files within the same space without the need to leave Microsoft Teams and go open a Word file and then need to share it. You can deliver trainings, and you have the option to record a session. So sometimes some people don't have the time to join real time. Nonetheless, you are given the opportunity to save your video securely on Microsoft Streams, again, without leaving the application, so that somebody can either revisit the training or even do it from the beginning because he or she didn't have the time to do it. Microsoft Teams nowadays has the ability to connect with your phone lines through an operation called SIP trunk. Basically, it becomes your phone center. You connect it with your telco provider, so you can have the functionality of a normal landline. Somebody's calling you, you can receive your call on your device or on your mobile device, your tablet, your PC. You can even make calls from there and even also keep a mailbox to receive messages. You can, as I said in the beginning, have a one-to-one or group chats, co-author files. And what does that mean? let's say we're a team of 10 people, we're working on a proposal or on a document, you can have up to 250 people working on the same document at the same time, and you view who is in the document and working with you, you can chat with them, and you can be more efficient, keeping also one version of the file sometimes, and I think this might sound familiar as well. We're working on a document and we keep sending the document to our colleagues via email, and sometimes we lose track where is everything and where is the last version, etc. Using workflows, we can automate all of our procedures. There are, in Microsoft Teams, we keep updating the App Store. There are more than 3,000 applications now from different vendors. It's not Microsoft applications that you can use within Teams in order to get approvals, in order to do a poll or a survey and things like that. And even using Power BI, which is part again of this M365 suite, to have visual representation of data using dashboards and insights within the own application. Going a little bit deeper on how we can keep remote workers productive on Office. We have lots of things here. First of all, as I mentioned in the beginning, each Microsoft 365 license gives a permission for the user that owns the license to have all of the applications on 5 PCs, 5 tablets, and 5 phones. This is something that we again understood from the younger people. They have more than one device. They're using tablets. They're using mobile phones. Also, through Microsoft 365, you are given a personal space of 1 terabyte. So you can store your personal files and share them from OneDrive. Collaborate real time, as I mentioned before, through our desktop apps, the applications we have been using for many, many years, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can now use them with your colleagues, co-authoring across different platforms, different devices. You can stay focused on what matters, and that's something that if you go through your OneDrive, everything based on how you're working, the files that you are using more recently, the files that your team is using more recently, they come on top, so you don't have to go back and search for each file or have difficulty in finding things. This is something that came up after a big research that was done by one of the Big Four. They found out that 30% of the time of an employee is looking for documents and information. This is something that we changed within Microsoft 365 to make people more agile and easier for them to find what they need and what is relevant for them. This is what I said, the pickup where you left it. Basically, you have on your recent the files that you used recently, so you know when was the last time you opened the file, on what device, and you can take it from there. You can search a person within these applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, without even going to Microsoft Teams. You can search them from there, and you can see the collaborators in everything that you do. This is the mobile version of it. We came up to a point where we gave 100% the look and feel of the applications everybody's using on their own PC, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, Word. You have the same experience on your mobile device, even if it's Android or iOS. So you can use your phone as a tablet, as a PC, on the go, anywhere you are, again, in a safely manner. Streamline business processes. As I said before, we realized that the initial version of Microsoft 365 that was until recently called Office 365 was our Office application online. We realized, like Teams, as I said before, that younger people, younger professionals needed more tools to do their things. So we are daily bringing in new applications in the suite. What we see before us is called Microsoft Bookings. You can publish your calendar in your web page, on your Facebook page. You can publish your services, your people, so your customers can go there, see the availability, and book an appointment. This was used by doctors, lawyers, etc. But after COVID, now that nobody wants to wait in a lobby, you can publish the calendar of the service or even the people, and your customers can go there, book their meeting, get a confirmation, and either do it remotely via Teams as we are doing it now, or even go there only during the time of their meeting and avoid unnecessary traveling and also being close to people now due to COVID. Microsoft Planner is a very nice project management tool. You assign tasks for your team in a project. You can have real-time progress, what started, what is delayed. You can connect tasks that are interrelated, like, let's say, if I finish my task, then Tonia must take over. So I get my task, I know when it's due. When I'm complete that, the next person gets an email and knows that they need to act. You can see that things are delaying, so I can add more people to help, and always being able to share files and chat while I'm working on a project. MileIQ, this is something that is very, very new. Again, in the portal, basically for customer or partner facing employees that are traveling, we can keep a record of the mileage they are doing. We can even assign gas prices, so we know how to reimburse them and pay what they're using. And also at the end of the day, get real-time reporting on how our people are traveling and what are the costs behind that. Microsoft Shifts, this is again an application that is included in the suite. It's something that we used to sell it to retail customers where you have shifts in store. So each employee knows when he's working, in what shop. You can have on the bottom of their application their tasks and to-dos for the day. Using this application, they can clock in and out. So it also covers our punching in, punching out need. And also they can ask to change a shift with somebody else and get approval. Nonetheless, even though this was something that was basically covering retail shop needs, we have customers that are using this after COVID. Nowadays that we have people, some people working from home, some at our offices, so everybody knows when it's working, and they know when to go to the office. Going on security, as we said, Microsoft has invested billions of dollars in our security, and this is something that through economies of scale, our customers receive with no cost. Security has become very, very complex. EBA, the European Banking Association, has very strict rules nowadays. The HIPAA for the hospital rules, etc. NSIT and all the other authorities, they are implementing harsh rules and regulations that each one of us need to comply. Also, we need to pay specific attention in Malta and Cyprus for GDPR. It's out there, and we need to be very cautious on that. So Microsoft, what we did there, we are offering this compliance coverage through our products in order to make it easier and help people do their work without the need to invest and spend time and money to do this. How do we do that? We know that the needs nowadays, and not only due to COVID, but in general, we have, as I said before, employees working from home or any other location. We have multiple personal devices, mobile devices, tablets, and also we saw that due to COVID, there were lots of phishing and ransomware due to COVID, that is spam emails and people trying to do malicious things to our data. So what we did, we updated our cyber threat protection. So save links are automatically scanned in order to see if something is malicious. Even if a user needs to click on it, the system behind that checks that for them, making it easier and safer for them to work. When we receive attachments, again, we have tools within our Outlook offering that help us identify if the attachment, somebody that even we know has shared, is malicious or has something that can harm our PC or device. Business data protection, when we are handling mobile devices or tablets, we can implement security policies. Let's say if somebody wants to open their Outlook from their mobile or tablet, to be able to make sure that it's the correct person that is opening the device and it's not somebody that found the device. Even if the phone is unlocked, the application needs a PIN or a Face ID or a Touch ID in order to open. Who's controlling company access? Again, there are tools within our applications that help us secure data that is for our own company. If we are attaching a file, and let's say that I work for Bank of Valletta, and everybody on the email has a Bank of Valletta email except somebody else, you will get a warning while pressing send, so you know that everybody is in the organization, you are sharing a file, and there is somebody that is not. Or if the file is classified as sensitive, even if you send it, the recipient that will receive it will have no way to open, view it, print it, edit it, etc. Device management, as I said before, within Microsoft 365, there are some suites. It's called Enterprise Mobility and Security that give us extra security for each device, so we can differentiate the corporate data and the personal data of the person owning the device, because in most of the cases, the device rule is bring your own device. So we can protect the data that is company data, and also the owner of the phone can protect his or her data from being accessed from the corp. Also, another function, if a device is stolen or lost, we can immediately wipe it, so somebody that will get it will have no access to the data that is on the device. What are our business offerings? As I told you, we renamed the business offerings Microsoft 365 because nowadays it's not only Office, it's some of the applications have already presented, as well as some new applications that are already added and some that will be added soon. So we have Microsoft 365 Business Basic, which is our lower SKU offering, an offering that gives you all that I have presented on an online version, and it's cheaper than your Spotify. It's $4.20 per user per month. My Spotify, I don't know who's using Spotify, is $6.99. Then you have Business Standard that you get also the applications. You can download it, as we said before, on 5 PCs, 5 tablets, 5 mobile phones for each user, which is $10.50 per month. And then it's Business Premium, which offers the extended package of enterprise mobility and security as highly leveled described in the previous slides, and that's $16.90 per user per month. So with that said, I want to thank first of all the Kosovo Business Chamber for inviting me here, and Tonia for co-presenting. We're going to be here for the next half an hour to take your questions and anything you need to ask. Also, I will share my alias, like Tonia, in case somebody wants more information. Really happy to be here, and I hope to have more of these sessions in the near future. Thank you very, very much. Checking also the chat window to see if we had any questions already. I'm reading the first question, so bear with me. I think the first question, Tonia, is for you. It's for Marlene. How have you seen the trend of internet banking and the use of mobile banking being used post-COVID? And have you seen any substantial rise in the usage? That's question number one, if you want to take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yes, there has been a shift during the COVID 3 month period where we have seen customers move from manual payments to electronic, and I can confirm that the numbers are fantastic. We hope to maintain and increase those numbers. We don't want our customers going back to checks and cash. So yes, we'll do our utmost to maintain them and increase those percentages. But my answer will be a yes, that there has been an increase.
Excellent. Then there is another question. What is the bank's plans for further enhance the use of mobile internet banking amongst consumers?
As regards to developments, we have a strategy where we will be increasing functions on mobile. We believe that mobile is the most convenient source of even actually carrying out your banking needs. And we have plans to increase further functionality on mobile and move more customers to mobile banking, making it easier and seamless for the customer to make and send payments.
Excellent. Then the next question is from Michael Galea for me.
Okay.
Paris, how are you seeing digitalization move in the coming years? How are you at Microsoft envisaging the future and evolving in the coming months? In order to be really true, covering Cyprus and Malta for many years, in Malta and Cyprus being two islands that we are, our economy besides tourism is on services. Entering the digital era, it's been there for the last 3 to 4 years. Nonetheless, we see that mobile users will be increasing significantly in the next 2 or 3 years. We see the need for artificial intelligence and smart systems will be rising as well. This is something that, especially in Malta, we see happening in iGaming, and also we see in banking. And in banking, what we saw back in 2005 when AML, anti-money laundering solutions, were presented, basically anti-money laundering solutions. For those that are not familiar with, we anonymously you track transactions that are abnormal. When we started in 2005, it was based only on the amount. Let's say Paris was withdrawing from an ATM 3 times a week, 100 euros. And you see a spike that Paris one day went there at 12 o'clock at night and took 5,000 euros. That was a spike. Nowadays, with artificial intelligence in place, it's not only the amount, is which countries are transacting with, if the account is a corporate account or not, and if it's within the business hours, etc. So artificial intelligence is here to support us. It's not here to take our jobs. But I think it's something that we'll see changing the whole environment in the next years. And also a personal prediction. When I went to preliminary school back 36 years ago, we used to go to school on Saturdays as well. And then the 5 days week was introduced. I believe that with the use of technology, because it makes it easier for people not to travel, make us more productive, I predict that in the next 10 years, we're going to go to a 4-day week environment. And this is something that will change a lot. The next question is from Joan. How do you see the role of education for the uptake of such applications that are coming in the future? Actually, to be honest, because I was involved in the project of the Ministry of Education in Cyprus, they moved all the learning during COVID and up to the end of the year through Teams. So education, and because younger people are more easy to learn new technologies, education is moving into this new digital era. My son is 8.5-year-old, and he can explain better than some colleagues of mine what are Teams and how can you use them. He was waking up in the morning, going through his calendar, knowing when to go to his meeting, and then back to his OneDrive, take his homework and repeat it back. And education is something that will change after COVID. We'll go to digital, I think, more sooner than expected. And also, it's very, very important, and it's very good that we have also young teachers nowadays, that they are pro-technology and they can help people how to, the young kids and students, how to embrace technology in the good way. Any other question, guys? We are here at your disposal. I'll also write in the chat my alias as well, in case somebody wants to ask anything more. If we don't have any more questions, then we can give it back to Daniel. And again, it was really, really a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Daniel, you want to take?
There is another question, Paris, in the comments box.
Okay. The migration path from Office 365 from Richard. Depending on what someone is using, the migration path of moving, let's say, from known mailboxes, POP3, Gmail, etc. I can share a link. It's called docs.microsoft.com that you can find all that information there, Richard. And anybody that needs more detailed information, feel free to reach out to me, and we can see that in on a one-to-one basis.
Okay, so you're okay, Paris? Okay, so I can conclude. We now come to the end of our webinar. I would like to thank Paris. It was very nice meeting him today. It is also his birthday today, but he still decided to be with us on this webinar. So thanks very much to Paris, and also to Microsoft from our end. It was an interesting collaboration that we would never have expected prior to this COVID-19 pandemic. So thanks very much. Thank you, Paris. Thank you, Tonia, for your very interesting presentation and insights. These past few months have been a learning curve from me today, especially when examining the depths of the applications and tools. You come to know how really much we don't know. So it's a learning curve for us all. So to those who are following us both on this platform, on our social media, because as usually what we are doing, we are making this webinar available for free on our social media tool and on our Facebook page. A special note of thanks goes to Richard Gregg, who not only coordinated technically the webinars we have been doing during the past months, but was also the brains behind the idea, because it was actually him who suggested this webinar. So thanks very much, Richard, especially for your patience and assistance provided throughout this period. Finally, I would like to invite you to continue following us on our webpage and Facebook page. And thanks once again for joining us today on the part of the GoZo Business Chamber. Thanks very much.
Thank you very, very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.